Happy December! I built you a gingerbread house. Yes, you specifically. You're welcome. Please accept this as a token of my everlasting affection. Hello, hi, welcome, or welcome back to another speed build. For today, I am building a gingerbread house. And originally, this was a completely different build that I spent a couple hours on, actually. And then as I was doing it, I was thinking just about holiday season and stuff like that, because it was just a normal kind of Christmassy holiday family home. And then as I was building it, I was thinking, oh, I haven't built a gingerbread house in a really long time. Maybe I'll do that this year. And then it hit me. I could just do that in The Sims, and then I don't have to do it with my hands, with a real one. So I scrapped it, and now I'm here. Now I'm building this one. And this is on 20 by 20 lot in Windenburg on kind of this little island peninsula thing. And I used the weather machine to make it snowing in wintertime so that it could get the full effect. And I was going back and forth between if I wanted to make it look like a gingerbread house as much as I could, or if I wanted to do it a little bit stylized and then have the gingerbread house elements. And I ended up doing that. So instead of the walls being straight up brown, I used this wallpaper from Get Together and stuff like that. But I do add the very gingerbread house decorations later, and I kind of love what I ended up coming up with, so I'm really excited to get there for you to see it. I'm also trying something different with my audio. So the way that I was doing it before is that my microphone picks up pretty much everything, so I would turn the sensitivity way down and then just speak really, really closely, but I feel like you could hear too many of my mouth noises, and I really didn't like that at all. So I moved my microphone all the way across my desk. I have a pretty big desk, away from my computer, because you can hear my computer humming and running if I have my microphone over there, and that's why I had the sensitivity so low and why I was talking literally 1 inch away from it. Now I can kind of sit back, and I think it sounds a little better. I hope it sounds a little bit better. I don't think you can hear my computer unless you have me way up for some reason, and I don't know why you would have that. So I hope this is better than what I had. I'm figuring things out. I'm very new to this. Anyway, what I'm doing with the build now is I noticed I completely forgot a chimney, and I went to go add one, and then I also realized that this is 5 tiles wide, and a chimney in The Sims is usually 2, and I couldn't put it in the middle, so instead I just took one of the ones that you can normally add on the roof, and then I just made it bigger and then stacked them on top of each other. You can see a couple of the lines on the back side. I cover those with trees later, so don't even worry about it, okay? Don't look at it too close. You know, we work with what we have. We adapt and overcome. By the way, I've noticed a lot when I record these, I repeat a lot of the same words. So, Finn the Sim drinking game. Every time I say the word so, every time I say I'm just some guy, every time I'm stupid, every time I start a sentence with the word but, every time I stutter, every time I say something that has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm doing on screen or the video or anything at all, take a drink. Play at your own risk. Also, every time I talk about ghosts, whether it relates to the video or not, too much stuff talking about ghosts. And there would be even more if I didn't cut out so much stuff. A lot of this, you'll probably notice a lot less than I'm thinking there would be, but there's still quite a bit. I cut out a lot of stuff where I just go on a rant about something stupid, and I'm like, no one wants to hear this. Get rid of that. Get rid of that and re-record something else. And then I do. But if anyone ever gets their hands on the Finn the Sim unedited, extended cut, good luck. You will die of alcohol poisoning, and I just hope that you don't blame me for that. Anyway, with the new event going on, I was excited to use some of the new stuff that we got. So the bushes with the lights on them, the new welcome mat, and the new wreath. One problem with the new wreath, by the way, if you put it on the door, your Sims can't walk through it. The other wreaths that they have in the game, your Sims can walk through it. This one they can't. So I used it, but I didn't hang it on the door. I used the other one instead. I hope they fix that. I also used the roof trim from, I believe it's For Rent, because I thought it kind of looked like icicles. And when I went, and I have my little Sim self here helping me out, using the decorations box from Seasons to put up decorations like the icicle lights, they don't go all the way up the eaves of the roof. So the trim really helped me out there too. And then the build was giving gingerbread house to me, but it really wasn't giving enough gingerbread house. So I was looking through wall decorations and a bunch of different stuff. I was looking through the wall decorations, and I saw this little, I can't remember what it's called, hunk of wood or something like that. And it comes in red, white, and green. And I thought, oh my God, it kind of looks like gumdrops. I could decorate the house and I put them everywhere and it kind of looks like gumdrops. So around the front door, I did them in those colors, just like you would decorate a gingerbread house. And I thought it actually came out so cute. And your sim can walk through it. They can walk around it. They can walk under them. Everywhere I put them, this entire build is play tested. I promise. I put the gumdrops there and then I end up putting them under the roof too. And I also shrunk them down and placed them in a little spiral pattern to make little peppermints, like you would put a little peppermint on your gingerbread house's decoration. And I was so happy with it. Yes, if you zoom in, you can tell it clips and stuff, but it really doesn't bother me at all. And I hate when things clip. So stuff like this, you just have to get a little creative in it. I think it still looks good. And I'm so happy with it. I think it really elevated it from just cute house that maybe will remind you of a gingerbread house to being able to look at it and go, that is a gingerbread house, definitely. So I add the little gumdrops underneath all the peaks of the roofs, and then I also add little peppermints on each kind of corner of the house too, just for a little extra something. I want to make sure you can tell it's a gingerbread house from all angles, because like I said, sometimes it just looks like a regular house. That takes me kind of a minute to do. I use the wreath to serve as sort of a outline for my peppermints so that they'd all be the same size. Otherwise, I guarantee you they would have been wildly inconsistent. So I placed the wreaths in some weird spots for a moment, but then I fill them with peppermints and then you'll see. December would be one of my favorite months in the year. I think if, funnily enough, there was no Christmas, just because I think a lot of people can understand some of the family stuff can be difficult. But I love December where I live. I love the snow. I live in a very snowy city and rainy city in the United States. But our first snow was actually very late this year. The first real one was about December 1st, and I had gone to a concert, and before we went in and we were waiting in line because we had general admission tickets, it was really cold, but there was no snow yet. And then when we came out of the concert, which the concert was really good, there was snow on the ground, and I was like, oh my God, yay, this is so exciting. And also I didn't have to drive home. I wasn't the one driving, so I didn't have to worry about it. It was really cool, just specifically because before we went in and we were both so cold, but there was no snow, and then we had the concert, and then we come out and there's snow, and there hasn't been any this year, which is very unusual for where I live. And December is usually the month where I'm not sick of the snow yet. Plenty of people are already sick of the snow. Plenty of people don't like the snow at all, but I'm not sick of it yet. It's still new and exciting, and it's not as absolutely freezing as it gets here in January, February. And it's not April and it's still snowing, because that also does happen. December would be my favorite if I didn't have all the stress too of gifts and things like that, because let me tell you too, my hands hurt so bad. I'm crocheting a lot of gifts this year, and my hands, they're really feeling it, but I gotta push through. Only a couple more weeks till Christmas. And the good news is I'm not working any sort of retail or customer service job this year, so I have not had any Christmas music shoved on me that I've had to listen to for 8 hours at a time. So that's a really big plus. I don't miss that at all. While I was building this, I also became kind of curious about why people build gingerbread houses, where they came from, stuff like that. So I looked it up, and apparently they've been around for a good amount of time, like 16th century-ish was the earliest that I saw for gingerbread houses themselves, not just regular gingerbread. And it seems like they originated in Germany, and then the gingerbread house thing became more popular after the fairy tale Hansel and Gretel was published, which I don't know how much of that is true. It seems everything I looked at was kind of iffy, but if so, that's really cool. That's neat. Even though I think the original fairy tale, the house wasn't made of gingerbread itself, it was made of regular bread. That's still pretty cool, I think. And I still wanted to share that with you guys because it fits with the whole theme of obviously making a gingerbread house. One thing that I really wanted to do with this build that I unfortunately was not able to figure out or do was the roof. And you know how when you build a gingerbread house, or at least the way I used to always do mine when I was a kid, was I would do that kind of cross hatch pattern with the icing on the roof, and then those little circular candies I would put on each intersection. I wanted to do that, but I don't have anything that would be able to tilt and slant with the slope of the roof. And also, obviously, I can't draw the lines on the roof. Here's me once again asking The Sims 4 to let me do arts and crafts on my Sims builds. Let me draw on them. Let me do that. This did also kind of inspire me to paint a little gingerbread house, because then I could do everything that I wanted. I could put anything I want on it because I'm just painting. I'm not limited by anything except my own skill. Though before I go to starting another task like that, I should probably fix my channel banner and things like that. I've made my own channel banner in literally 5 minutes. I just thought it looked so plain and bare. When I posted my first video, I was like, I need to put something there. I drew the little ghosts with the plum bombs over them, and I thought it was really cute, the idea, but the execution doesn't look very good. So I'll have to fix that at some point. Though it's already been almost 2 months since that first video, so I'll get around to it eventually. It'll look better one day. For now, I think it kind of fits my brand for how everything is a little bit janky, a little bit shitty. And you've been watching me place these little peppermints on here for almost 3 minutes now, so I mean, thanks. I can't believe it still took this long, even with how much this is sped up. But the dedication to the craft, okay, was determined. I had to spend half an hour putting those on there. Then I also used the same little wooden peg things, but in the white color, and I put them around the corners of the windows, so it kind of looked like you stuck them on there with the frosting. And I thought it looked really cute because the windows looked really plain in comparison with all my other decoration. And in that same vein, I thought I needed another little something, so I also did this sort of scalloped edge on the part where the roof meets the walls of the house with the same little pieces. So it looks like you did little frosting edges. And that was kind of my last real gingerbread house decoration thing I did on the outside. And a lot of this fought me so much with the camera. I tried switching to the Sims 3 camera and moving things around, and it really didn't want me to be placing these in some places. And I had to cut out a lot of the camera moving and bobbing up and down and to the side and back and forth where I was putting my mouse, and it was really annoying. So I'm sorry that some of the angles in this can be kind of strange. Like, why are you placing it when you are looking at the ground and then you can barely see it at the top of the screen? Because the camera physically wouldn't let me, because I needed the roof part, but then I needed to zoom in sort of closer to the wall. So it thought, oh, you need to zoom in there. So it would just move my camera for me because it thought I was trying to look at something else. No, let me look where I want to look. But it doesn't look too bad the way that I ended up doing it here. The editing makes it look so much better. It looked, before I did anything, it was just sped up. It almost gave me motion sickness looking at it. I then made sure that all the lights were the ones I wanted. I used mostly the icicle ones, and then I put garland on the fences, and then I had my Sim self dig for decorations. I didn't realize all of the ones that you get from the box are just in the menu, so I didn't even have to do that. That reindeer thing was what I was looking for. You can just get that in the build buy menu, so that was completely unnecessary. Also, I want to mention that I added white columns on the corners to kind of look like icing holding the sides of the walls together. I used a good amount of horse ranch in this. Those columns are horse ranch, the fence and the stair railings are horse ranch, and I used horse ranch inside for the kitchen, and it kind of came in handy. I don't play with horse ranch gameplay a lot, but I use a lot of the build stuff. I think the build stuff is genuinely very good. And speaking of using it indoors, we can finally move indoors. This was the easiest floor plan I've ever had to do in my life. Things are so much easier when you don't have to worry about stairs. And also, I think maybe I should just start planning builds from the inside out more often. I didn't do that with this build, but I feel like I should for the future because I struggle so much with that in my other builds that are bigger. Floor plans are so tough just because of the stairs. Where do I put the stairs? And that's why I cut them out of my builds. Maybe one day I'll make a compilation of me trying to do floor plans in like times 15 speed because it is actually kind of funny, and then set it to Looney Tunes music in the background. Anyway, for the kitchen, I use the horse ranch counters, and I use these green ones because I didn't know where else I'm ever going to use the green counters, and I actually quite like how they look. I was going back and forth between these and maybe the cottage living or the country kitchen kit. I do love the cottage living ones, specifically the red ones, except the countertops were a little too light. I definitely would have used them instead of these ones if the countertops were darker brown, but it wasn't really what I was going for. And I use this wallpaper pretty much everywhere. I do end up switching it in the bedroom and the bathroom. I use this one in the entire rest of the house because it has the white sort of frosting-y thing, and then it has the brown for the gingerbread. And I also like how the paneling at the bottom, the way it kind of looks like a chocolate bar. I thought it would be really cute to imagine the inside. You put little white chocolate bars to be the wood paneling. I thought that was adorable. The kitchen was probably the hardest part for me for this entire build, which is very strange because normally kitchens are very easy because I love doing kitchens. But this one, I loved the green in the countertops, but also I wasn't too sure about the color. And then I really wanted to put stuff in this little window, but technically it's outside, so the lighting's a little weird. And I had to put it through the shelf on the back. I think it still looks cute. I wanted to keep the red and green throughout the house. This house is very, very festive. It's a bit over the top, but it's a gingerbread house. What else am I meant to do here? I wanted to fully embrace it. Not everything has to be subtle and chic, okay? Sometimes things can be garish and ugly, okay? But the kitchen was the hardest part. Also, curtains. Curtains and rugs are always the hardest part of any build as like a subgenre of which room is the hardest, the kitchen for this build. Which piece is the hardest? Rugs and curtains. I need more rugs. I need more curtains. The temptation to use custom content is so high, but I won't do it. I won't do it. With the amount of time I spend looking for rugs and curtains and changing which rug and changing the curtains, I cut out a lot of stuff because just like the floor plan, it is comical how long it takes me. By the way, that end counter piece, how it's the short one, you can't actually cook on there, so I ended up having to change it to the large one when I was playtesting it. So the one on the gallery is fully functional. It's a little bigger, which honestly I could have also switched the upper cabinet to be that bigger one that I wanted too. I didn't do that though. Same with when I put the trash can in the back, it wasn't functional, so I had to move it a little bit. But that I think is the only thing that I had to change. Everything else worked just fine because I was testing it as I went along. You saw me test earlier with the wreath with your sim not being able to go through it. I tried to remain festive too with the clutter items. So I have the hot chocolate thing, and then I have that little cake container thing. I don't know what to call it, but that felt very Christmassy to me. I made it red. But to have the little baked treat in the case, and then you just cut yourself a little slice. I don't know. Baked treats aren't specific to Christmas, but that one made me feel like it was. Once I was out of the kitchen, things went pretty quick. It really was the kitchen that had me a little stressed with how the rest of this was going to turn out because I didn't think it was matching the outside very well. It didn't feel right. And so I actually logged off and took a break, and then the next day I came back and finished the kitchen. And then adding clutter really helps. Clutter fixes everything all the time, and just deciding that actually I can add as many Christmas decorations as I want. And while I was doing the kitchen, I found a lot of stuff for other rooms. So that too helped with the furnishing of the rest of the house because I already found the little cubbies for the front door, the table for the hallway, the rugs I wanted to use in the living room. I think it was just because I started in the kitchen. The first room can always be somewhat tough because you're figuring out the whole indoor vibe of the house. I would like to take a moment as well to express my disappointment in the options for brown tile. Saying that out loud, I think I understand why there's not a lot of brown tile. When I was looking for it for the kitchen and the bathroom, all of them were just kind of so ugly that I just used the wallpaper in the kitchen. I didn't even change it because the other options were so ugly. The bathroom is cut out of the video as usual. There'll be screenshots, but I did use a tile in there. Kind of ugly though. Kind of really ugly. Please, can't believe I'm saying this, more brown tile, please. The living room was super easy for me. Very simple. Using the outdoor retreat furniture in here was such a good fit too. I don't use it very often because it's very log cabin-y and I don't build a lot of log cabins. For this build, it was kind of perfect. So I used the couches here. I also used the bed in the bedroom bedroom. And I think outdoor retreat merges really well with horse ranch, so it makes sense that I would use it in this build. Horse ranch and outdoor retreat are friends, maybe even lovers. Who are we to say? They get along. That's all that matters. The living room includes a couple skill building items too, because there isn't a lot in the rest of the house. So I added a guitar and the cross stitch thing in here to give your Sims something to do if you decide to use this. Maybe people go here on vacation. It's kind of gingerbread men don't have TVs or laptops, though you might want to bring a computer or something if your Sims don't like to play the guitar or cross stitch or cook, because there's not a lot to do here. Gingerbread men live little simple lives, okay? They don't have all these modern luxuries. Their house is made of gingerbread. Their walls are held together with frosting. They don't have Fortnite. Sorry, that was stupid. Anyway, I would have used the frame TV that they have as one of the rewards for the new holiday event, except it wasn't unlocked yet when I built this. It still had a couple days until you could unlock that one. It's unlocked now, but I already finished the build. Otherwise, I totally would have used it. I would recommend putting it here so then maybe your Sims can get their fun up a little bit easier. Just get rid of the wreath and the little curtain thing there. Or put it wherever you want. Put it in the bathroom. Let's follow your dreams, brother. Side note about the bathroom. This is a bathtub only household. Shower didn't feel right. I can't see a gingerbread man taking a shower. I can see a gingerbread man in the bathtub with some soaks and some little candy rubber ducks or something. Your gingerbread is kind of hard. I think it would last if you soaked it in water for a little bit. Don't quote me on that, though. I'm not a gingerbread expert. I know that it probably sounds like I am, because I probably sound like I know everything about everything and that I'm the smartest person alive, but I'm actually extremely humble and I only know most things about everything ever, okay? So the gingerbread thing, I could be wrong about that, but everything else I'm probably right about, okay? That was a joke, by the way. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but the amount of times where I've said something absolutely ridiculous, but I say it in kind of a monotone voice and people have to go, wait, are you for real? And I have to say, no. But no, very obviously I'm not for real. That is outlandish. I'm joking, but that happens to me quite often, so I thought I'd just make it clear real quick. When I do these videos, I also like to do themed makeup with them. Obviously, you guys can't see that because I don't have a face cam, but just trust me, it really helps get in the mood and kind of the vibe, the feel to do this. Like, I put on my candy cane eyeliner and I feel ready to build a Christmas house, and I feel ready to record a voiceover for my Christmas house. The spookier builds are kind of more my speed. That's a lot closer to my regular makeup, but it's fun to do things that I probably wouldn't do normally with my makeup to theme it along the lines of my build. I'm a sucker for a theme. If anything has a theme, oh, I'm so in. I gave less thought to who lives here than I usually do when I build something, mostly just because it's a gingerbread house. Of course, there are gingerbread men that live here. So I guess there's 2 gingerbread men and they're married because gingerbread men are married, and then they like Christmas. I didn't give them any sort of story like I usually do. Definitely not as intricate as the one that I did for my last video. They're still important and I still love them. Those gingerbread men, they live in my heart for sure. Do you like how much absolute nonsense I start talking when it gets closer to the end of these videos, because it's almost out of time and I already mentioned everything that I wrote down on my sticky notes to mention in my video? I keep a pack of sticky notes next to my desk, and then as I build, I kind of write down what I want to say about certain things, what I was thinking in the moment. For things like this, there were almost no thoughts. Once I got inside, it was no thoughts. Just Christmas. Not much to figure out once I was done with the outside. It's just red and green, just anywhere you can. Red and green and garland and wreaths and bows and nutcrackers. Side note, I love that nutcrackers are a thing. Were they really invented to crack nuts and then they just made them? How did they become associated with Christmas? I looked this up too because I was curious, and it's just kind of, yeah, they invented them to crack some nuts, then, Christmas, and now people use them as decoration and no one uses them to crack nuts, which is disappointing. I hope you guys use your nutcrackers to crack nuts this year. Give it a try. I don't know how well they do because they're probably not made for that unless you get one that's actually made for that now. The modern Nutcracker is probably not made for that, but it should be. It started out as something useful and then also decorative. It should go back to that. I think that's more fun. And would you look at that? We finally got a different wallpaper. Let's go. It's still white and brown, but it is different because I didn't want it to be the same in the entire house. This bedroom is quite small, but I like it because it's cozy and your Sims can still go around it. Don't worry, I promise. Take my hand, it'll be all right. It's small, but it's nice, and it does house the clown painting. It can be a Christmas clown. Honestly, I don't think it looks that weird in here. It somehow works. Maybe that's just me because I think you can put the clown painting anywhere, but I think it works in here. I think it's okay. While looking for something to hang on the big wall, I did find the new shelf from Life and Death actually has a swatch that doesn't just have the Grim Reaper on it because I felt like that probably wasn't very gingerbread-like. It actually had this really cute quilt that I thought worked quite well. And I was very happy, and it could just be my bias towards the Life and Death pack anyway, but I thought it was nice that I still found it useful in a build like this, where there is no death, no ghosts to be seen, unfortunately. Always in my heart, ghosts, I love you. Don't worry, I'll be reunited with my ghosts very soon. My next build is definitely going to be finally using those new broken windows from the Life and Death pack to build a true abandoned haunted house, and I'm so excited. So, I mean, if you want to see that, stick around. I'll be lurking. I'll be here. You can always come back. I saw too that Love Struck was on sale, only for 25% off, but I did see a different one where it was 50 from a different website, and I might go grab that. And then I will definitely want to do a build that is very kind of Valentine's Day-y. And of course, I'd probably do one around Valentine's Day as well, but I want to be able to use the new furniture if I do get that pack. We'll see if they still have the sale going on, and 25% off is not enough, honestly. I would do 40, and I would definitely do 50. We'll see. It might be a bit longer before I get that pack. Either way, after this one, my bread and butter, we're doing haunted house. Next video, next week, it's coming. Since this build is so small as well, I won't be doing a tour at the end. I'm just going to do a whole bunch of screenshots of the inside because doing a tour felt a little silly. You can see the whole house basically just in this frame right now. Do you really need me to take you on a tour? I don't think you'll get lost in this house. I believe in you. I think you'll be okay. I'm just adding finishing touches. The trash can, making sure all the lights are not the saucer lights I use that I'm just able to see. Just last minute decorations. Finish up some last minute landscaping. Get rid of the decoration box outside. And then I go to manage worlds and go to build mode from there because that actually gets rid of the snow without getting rid of the snow when I'm actually playing. So I do that so that I can check out the roof, make sure I got everything matching on the outside, anything that I can't see with the snow, and then I do terrain paint. And that's pretty much the whole build. All gallery information will be in the description as usual. Move objects is on for this, so before you place it, just type in bb.moveobjects on and everything should be fine. Everything should be there. Thank you for being so strong and brave by listening to me talk for almost half an hour. That's very sweet of you. And maybe you'll do it again. Maybe. Or not. You don't have to. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm sorry for pressuring you. Pretend I didn't say anything. Don't worry about it. I'll go into screenshots now. I'm sorry. Okay. Goodbye. I've been thinking about recording some music or something here to put at the ends with my voice as I just do my little after credits ramble. I think that would make it a lot nicer, but also then I'd have to record music and I don't know how well that would go. Also, I only play the flute, so I don't know how well that would, I don't know how cool that would be.